You're listening to Strange by Nature, your guide to the strange, weird, unbelievable, and improbable wonders of the natural world.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for being here today. I am Kirk Mona, and I am joined today by Rachel Ginza and Victoria Thompson. We are all professional naturalists who together have scoured the world for weird and wonderful wonders just to please your mammalian brain's desire for novelty. Isn't that nice? Let's do this.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Strange by Nature. I am excited to be back this week. See you guys.
Absolutely.
How are you doing?
We're excited to have you back.
Yay!
Yeah. I get to kick things off this week, and I'm actually going to call back to a recent episode of the show that I was not on, but I did listen to.
Ooh.
I'm flattered that you listened to the ones you're not on.
Kirk talked about the maned wolf, and that got me thinking about a topic that had actually been on my list for a while. Specifically, it was the fact that the maned wolf apparently smells like weed.
Oh, is that fact?
Yes.
Okay.
And this got me thinking about smelly animals. Of course, there are many.
No, you're not going to.
The skunk is most famous. I'm not talking about skunks today, though.
Okay,
not skunks.
cool.
No.
Okay. All right. This might be on
And Kirk
my
and
list.
Rachel, you talked about foxes. Those foxes are smelly, too.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole group of animals, the mustelids or weasel family, that are pretty smelly. They like polecats, wolverines. They have scent glands that they use for marking. And another example is civets. Those are the source of a musk of the same name that's been used in perfumes for centuries. But, all of these animals, they all produce scents that are kind of, animal. They smell musky.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Skunky, kind of, stinky, that earthy, animal-y kind of smell, right?
Are we going a different direction here?
We're going a different direction.
Ooh, I'm intrigued.
The animal that was on my list smells like something else entirely. This animal is a cat relative from Southeast Asia called the
I know
binturong.
this. Yes.
Oh, binturongs, yeah.
Yes.
And
I
it
know where you're
smells
going.
like
I'm so excited.
buttered popcorn.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who doesn't love buttered popcorn?
Right?
I can attest. I've smelled a bit wrong. They smell like buttered popcorn.
You have at a zoo, I take it?
Yes.
That's okay. That's awesome. I've never seen one that I recall or smelled one. But it's going to be high on my list.
I've seen one, but I don't recall. I didn't sniff it, so I can't really. I didn't do like a scratch and sniff type experience with it. I was a little further away, so I cannot attest to the buttered popcorn smell.
Yeah, I can. We were pretty. The binturong happened to be pretty close to the fencing that was there, and then there wasn't much distance between where I was and where the binturong was, so I could smell it.
Nice.
It was fun.
So specifically, it is actually the binturong's urine that smells like popcorn. And
that's
So
a scratch and sniff test would not have been successful on my part.
No.
So recently, a team of researchers from several places, including Duke University, were able to isolate different chemicals from the urine. And they discovered that it contains a chemical called 2-acetyl-1-pyrroline, which is, in fact,
of course,
the same chemical that forms when popcorn pops.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
weirdly.
wild.
When it's formed chemically, it can only form at very high temperatures, like in a popping corn kernel. But obviously, the inside of the binturong is not reaching those temperatures.
I hope not. No.
But they think that it may be made by a bacteria that interacts with the urine and can synthesize this using some kind of enzyme or whatever. But all of this got me thinking, are there other animals that smell like food or other unexpected things?
I've found that cows smell like steak.
Oh, do they?
When they get hot enough, when they get hot enough, they sure do.
Yes.
I'm guessing that's not what you mean.
That's not what I meant. But even in the spirit that I am intending my question, the answer is yes. So I have now a list. This is going to be a listicle article.
Ooh,
podcast episode.
Very excited.
So, starting off with larger and smaller yellow ants, which are native to the U.S., and they emit a lemon or a citronella scent when they're threatened or crushed. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Some of them taste like it too.
Oh, do you know from personal experience, Kirk?
I know some people do as like sort of a little party trick and stuff. Will eat ants, and some of the different acids and things they produce. Actually, are some of them are lemon flavored, some are chocolate flavored. Like ants apparently have a lot of different flavors if you are brave enough to eat them.
Yeah. Wow, good to know.
So
I'll keep that in mind.
Are these naturalists who are doing this party trick?
Of course they are.
Right. This just once again shows that what a wild and weird group we are. Someone's party trick is to eat ants and tell you what flavor they are.
I mean, maybe not the best way to make friends and influence people. It's like, hey, everybody, I'm gonna eat some ants. Watch me. Like,
I mean,
there's the weird kid again.
Unless all the people are naturalists, right?
Then everyone's impressed, yeah.
Then everybody has a great time. Yeah.
Moving on to the next animal, some species of spadefoot toads secrete an irritating defensive substance that some people think smells like peanut butter. And apparently can also make you sneeze. I wasn't able to find any scientific literature backing this up, although there were some documents from, more reputable organizations like zoos and state departments of conservation.
Right.
A lot of the sources were kind of along the lines of, some people even say that spadefoot toads smell like peanut butter.
Someone mentioned it once. And,
okay. But, however, I did find a study about the parotid gland secretions of an Australian tree frog that said it emitted a nutty odor, and it was characterized as being like peanut butter. So this does make the toad story more plausible.
Okay, and those parotid glands are those big, like bumps on the back of a toad, if you've ever seen those.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, they're like people think that they're like the big warts or whatever.
Yeah. And they are the substances that give off is what makes a lot of, especially toads, taste really bad.
Yes.
So they don't get eaten. So it makes sense that there'd be a smell associated with that too. Maybe it could even be a thing where the more they smell, it's sort of a warning to the predators as their nose gets close. Like, hey, I remember something that smelled like this tasted real bad.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense evolutionarily.
Yeah, especially since memory and scent is tied so tightly.
Yeah,
definitely.
Very much so.
Have you ever smelled a smelt?
Delta smelt?
Smelt. Delta smelt are a now sadly critically endangered species of small fish from the Bay Area of California, and apparently they smell like cucumber.
Oh, that's refreshing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, very refreshing.
Rachel, you are up in smelt run territory.
Oh, yeah.
On Lake Superior. Next time there's a smelt run, let us know. Just go sniff some and see if they smell like cucumbers here too.
But I found a webpage where there was a little table allowing you to distinguish this species of smelt from some other similar species of smelt. And among the lines in the table was smell. And for the Delta smelt, it was cucumber. And for the other one, it was fish.
I was just going to say, like, they're like, this one has a distinct fish odor. Seems about right.
Yep.
I often find fish are kind of fishy smelling.
Yes. There is a species of stick insect.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Stick insects from northeast Australia and New Guinea. It's called the peppermint stick insect. One guess what it smells like.
Licorice.
Right. Peppermint.
What?
What?
I
was going to say orange juice.
We'll get there.
Bunch of
what?
Wow, I'm so sorry you have to deal with this, Victoria. This is what you were missing while you were gone.
Yeah.
For 2 episodes.
Just us spitballing.
It has an irritating defensive spray that it uses that does indeed smell like peppermint. And this is actually quite unusual for stick insect because usually they mostly rely on camouflage for defense.
Yeah, that's true.
Wild. Yeah. Staying in Australia, male western grey kangaroos apparently have quite a strong odor, which many people find curry-like.
Okay.
Yeah, just the males, though.
I like curry.
Yeah.
Curry's good.
It's like, I guess they have a nickname of stinkers. So that's not.
That would imply that curry stinks, which is incorrect.
Yeah.
Curry
They're
is
wrong.
delicious and
I think
lovely.
Yes, I agree. But, it may be like an offensive version of the curry smell or something.
Maybe, I don't know.
I haven't smelled one.
It's mixed with kangaroo BO, so that may not be.
Might not be the best smell.
Next one, yellow spotted millipedes actually emit hydrogen cyanide as a defense mechanism. And hydrogen cyanide smells like almonds or cherry cola. So that's what they smell like. Don't lick your hands, kids. This one, some of our listeners may have heard before because it's kind of been all over the internet. Beavers have a scent gland that is actually used as a perfume ingredient. Or weirdly, in small amounts in the food industry, since it kind of resembles vanilla. But,
Okay, we have synthetic vanilla. I don't think adding a little...
No.
Tiny amounts of this are used in the food industry. You are so much more likely to have cheap, readily available vanillin artificial vanilla flavor in your food rather than...
Which is, by the way, a pale imitation of real vanilla.
Yes.
Yeah.
True. But at least you're not having beaver scent goop. Apparently, maybe...
Beaver scent goop, yep. Not on my menu, yep.
I don't know if you might be able to confirm this, Kirk, as a dog owner, but apparently dog paws often smell like Fritos corn chips.
I've heard that, and
I've heard that too.
My dog is not in the room. I could call either one of them in here, but they've been instructed to stay away when Daddy's podcasting. So
okay. Apparently, some people find this to be true, and it's due to some harmless bacteria that are, around in the environment and interact with dog paws in this way for whatever reason. The next one I find almost as weird as the binturong. Crested auklets, which are a small seabird of the northern Pacific Ocean, smell like tangerines during the breeding season. Yes.
Nice.
They have a small... Lovely. Yeah. Right? They have a small area on the back of their neck, which is like a little smell patch, and they sniff each other's necks during courtship. It actually gets much, much weirder than this, and I may have to devote a whole episode to the crested auklet because they're very strange.
Very strange.
Yes.
Fair.
Well, and we've talked about on the show before, too, how for some reason goldfinches smell like maple syrup.
Oh, right.
And no one knows why. But, maybe there's a connection there has something to do with breeding or something. But
courtship, yeah.
It's so weird.
Huh.
And saving the most disgusting for last, apparently bed bugs smell like coriander or cilantro, at least to some people.
Interesting. Yeah, I know they've said there's a distinct smell if there's bed bugs, and I thought it was almonds, but like I've heard people say if you come into a hotel room and it has this certain smell, you should like check for bed bugs. But I haven't heard coriander or cilantro. That's interesting.
It was described in different ways. Coriander, cilantro. One website I was looking at said like decayed raspberries, which is weirdly specific.
That's very
oddly specific, yeah.
Apparently it has a smell, but people can't always agree on what it smells like. And it may be a genetic thing. Maybe it smells different to different people.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice.
At any rate, if you smell coriander in your bedroom or a hotel room and you haven't recently been, grinding spices in there for some purpose, maybe call an exterminator.
Don't get me started on bed bugs.
Yeah, I don't know if you know that Rachel had a bed bug experience at her place of work this summer. So
yeah, more than one. That was like the month of July.
Oh. Surprised Rachel hasn't done bed bugs as a topic yet.
Wait for it.
Maybe it's still too fresh.
Yeah.
Too soon. Well, that's what I have. My sources this week were many, but my main ones were about the binturong from the Atlanta Zoo, a genuine listicle from treehugger.com about animals that smell like snack foods, And an article from the Journal of Chemical Ecology on that green tree frog parotid gland secretion.
Cool.
All right, we're going to take a little break, and when we come back, it'll be Kirk's turn.
Welcome back, everyone. Last week I hinted that I was researching a topic and I somehow got completely distracted by water, so I talked about lakes. I also said that since Rachel did a Kirk topic by talking about space, I wish I had kept to my original topic since it is truly a Rachel topic. So here it is, a week late.
I'm so excited.
Let's all go where?
Australia.
To the ocean.
The ocean. Yes.
No. The ocean.
The ocean.
The other Rachel topic area.
Oh, so good. I'm ready.
I want you to imagine you're swimming in the warm waters off the Galapagos Islands when you spy a strange-looking creature just past the edge of the reef. First of all, it's a fish. It's clearly a fish. That much is clear, but it's one of the strangest fish you've ever encountered. When I say the word fish, a certain image likely comes to mind, and part of that image is a particular body plan. So fish are often vertically flat. Also, they're taller than they are wide, if that makes sense.
Yes.
I don't know about you, Kirk, but when I think of a fish, I think of a bumblebee.
Of course, because bumblebees are fish.
Okay, anyone who has not heard that episode of the podcast is like, what? What are you talking about? Yeah, that's nice callback.
Thanks.
This particular fish is actually wider than it is tall. It looks almost like someone maybe stepped on it and flattened it out. And it isn't totally flat, though, like a flounder, if you're familiar with those. But a flounder is really just a fish that swims on its side. These fish are upright. They just aren't, flat. They're more wider than tall. And they average about 16 inches long, fully grown. Also strange, besides the fact that they're kind of like flattened out, like a bit of a pancake, is that they have weird fins. The pectoral, pelvic, and anal fins all point downward and are quite stiff. The fins are so strange, in fact, that they don't really even use them for swimming. They use their fins for walking. That's right. This fish walks along the bottom of the ocean. Really, really weird. And the weird features don't end there. Pucker up. This fish has bright red lips that look straight out of a lip plumping injection gone wrong. Was then covered with like bright red lipstick. What I'm talking about is the red-lipped batfish. Have you heard of these?
No.
I have.
They are pretty strange. The weirdness continues. The red-lipped batfish not only is weirdly shaped and walks on fins and has big ol' red lips, but it also has another interesting adaptation. Red-lipped batfish have a strange growth. I think it's the best way to describe it is that they have like a unicorn horn.
Or a schnoz.
It isn't
I
a
think
horn,
you could
though.
call it a schnoz.
A schnoz, yeah. It's actually a fleshy projection out of what is essentially their forehead. It does look kind of like a big, I was thinking of like a Pinocchio nose, kind of.
Uh-huh.
It's actually called an elysium. And the elysium is very cool. It's actually made out of the dorsal fin of the fish, technically. So when they mature, it starts to grow forward and it becomes this like Pinocchio nose looking thing. If we're going to call it like a, or said mentioned it looks like a unicorn horn. If we're going to call it a unicorn horn, it had probably better say that it's a magic unicorn horn to be more accurate because, unicorns are magical, right? But
of course.
Maybe it's more like a magic wand. Think of it as like a magic wand. When the fish is deep underwater and they can go to depths of 250 feet, that's 76 meters in non-stupid, they simply say the magic words Lumos, and the tip of the Elysium begins to glow. So I'm sorry, I'm a Harry Potter nerd, which has been well established. Yeah. They don't actually have to say Lumos, okay? It just lights up without a magic phrase. So
sad.
This light is naturally a lure, as you might imagine, to attract smaller fish, which then get eaten by the red-lipped batfish. Batfish are thus one of the 200 types of anglerfish that are lurking in the deep. And like other anglerfish, batfish make the glowing color by hosting millions of glowing photobacteria in their elysium. So they also, one thing I found that was really fascinating is it's not just the light from this bacteria, they actually grow crystals in the tip of their elysium to help better reflect the light. Yeah.
That's cool.
They are growing crystals to help make sure that light reflects out, which is just super cool. That one blew my mind.
Wild.
I was able to find one source that claimed that there are different unique photobacteria for each species of marine mammal, animal that glows. So it could be, although I don't know if this has been 100% tested, but it could be that this specific bacteria species responsible for the glow in the red-lipped batfish is, completely unique from any other one out there. I mean, related to, right? But a unique species. And I could not, sadly, find any references that talked about what specific bacteria species is in the red-lipped batfish. So it could be that just hasn't even been isolated yet, which is pretty amazing. So batfish are super cool. They walk. They lure other fish to their death with entrancing lights. They have these huge red lips. Incidentally, it is thought that the red lips play a role, probably most likely in sexual selection in the species. Essentially the same as they do in humans.
Of course.
But that's all really amazing. But I want to give you some what I think is interesting extra info here. When I was researching this topic, I started off on Wikipedia, as I'll often do. It's a good general place to get a broad overview of a species. I usually check out any sources listed and try to read the primary sources as well. And I basically might use Wikipedia as a jumping off site, right? Editors there often have already found good sources, and it can save me time hunting them all down on my own. It can also just be a really great site when we need general information, such as the average size of the animal or habitat or some kind of numbers that we want to share on the show. So when I was looking for info on the red-lipped batfish, of course, this, the Wikipedia page popped up right away. And I was looking around and I found there wasn't a lot of other info out there in the world on these. There's actually lots and lots of websites about them, but almost all of them are just copy and pasted directly from the Wikipedia page or very lightly rehashed where you're like, well, this seems like a familiar read. And there was one fact on that Wikipedia page that really stuck out to me. It states correctly that they are only found in the waters around the Galapagos Islands. They do have a relative that lives further north called the rosy-lipped batfish, but that's a different related species. And the article then claims that, weirdly, a handful of red-lipped batfish have been caught off the coast of California in fishing nets, but it's unclear if perhaps this is a closely related species, as it seems really far out of their range. And I was like, whoa, that's super cool. Now I'm intrigued because this is a fish that walks. How would it walk from the Galapagos Islands in, South America
famously
to
fairly
California?
Far away to California. Yeah.
Yeah, that seemed unlikely to me, but it caught my eye because we talk about the unlikely and the weird on this show. And I was like, this could be a really great hook to kind of lead into my story about this species. So what did I do? I wanted to look for an original source that made that claim and maybe get a little background information. And again, I could find plenty of websites that quoted the Wikipedia entry, but no primary sources about red-lipped batfish in California. So what else to do but check the citations? On that page, citation number 6 in the article is a journal article called, I get to pronounce this, Ogchocephalus darwini, which is the scientific name of the red-lipped batfish. Yep. A new batfish endemic at the Galapagos Islands. This was published in Copia in 1958. And in the article, I found the following interesting paragraph. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Z. elater is generally recorded as ranging from Mexico to Panama, but it occurs as far north as Point Conception, California, where 2 specimens were caught in halibut nets in January 1945. One of them here figured. Other species have been taken in Southern California. So I think this is the paragraph they were quoting.
Z. elater? What's Z. elater?
Exactly. That is a completely different species of fish, which is the Zaleutis elater, also known as the roundel batfish. not the red-lipped batfish. And the context was that the author was talking about similar related species in the Pacific because they were describing a new species of fish and they wanted to talk about what other species have been found. So what likely happened is that a Wikipedia editor misunderstood the journal article and then added the incorrect information onto Wikipedia. And now hundreds of sites around the web have copied that bad information about the species. Now, I'm a giant nerd, as you know, so I happen to be an editor on Wikipedia.
Of course,
and I started a discussion with. I know. I started a discussion with other editors about revising the error on the page, and that's one of the cool things about Wikipedia. It will eventually get fixed, and entries do get better and better over time. But how many other websites that copied that information will ever get updated? I'm guessing not many. So the red-lipped batfish, it's a super freaky, weird fish, but they probably have not walked from the Galapagos to California. It's actually a great lesson to verify the information you see online, folks. Anyways, it's a super cool species. Just want to talk about it. And my sources were Wikipedia, complete with errors, and also the Smithsonian.
Thanks, Smithsonian.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for getting things right. You're welcome. We're going to go to a break, and then Rachel will be back with more goods for us.
Woohoo! Welcome back, everyone. So this topic came to me from one of our listeners and a friend of the show and friend of ours, Ashley. So,
hey, Ashley.
Hi, Ashley.
Okay.
I'm very excited to see what Ashley sent to you.
Ooh, you should be. So, as I am a big nerd, as well as Ashley being a big nerd.
Well established. Yeah, she would take pride in you saying that. Absolutely.
I do listen to nature podcasts and science podcasts, and from time to time, I do also hear topic ideas. Usually it's like a small little tidbit, which ends up kind of like what you were saying with Wikipedia, Kirk, where I'll hear something and I'm like, I'm sorry, what? And then it has me go and do more research into that topic. And when that happens, I do credit the show. But it doesn't happen very often, I found. So Ashley heard this little fact that was just dropped in a podcast we both listened to, Ologies, and texted me, was like,
oh yeah,
tell me more. So Ologies recently did a whole episode which was dedicated to squirrels. We've done episodes on squirrels before, at least certain species. So today I'm talking about the southern flying squirrel.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
So we've talked about flying foxes. Love a good
flying squirrel.
Flying squirrels are great.
They're so great. Which is very different from flying squirrel. So to give a little bit of detail.
Yeah, very much so.
The southern flying squirrel is a squirrel. It's about the size of a chipmunk. So they have olive, brown, gray, dense fur on their back with a white underbelly and a tail that actually is pretty flat. They're about 8 to 10 inches in length, which doesn't include the tail. Sorry, Kirk, I don't have it in smart person.
That's fine.
So a little bigger than a chipmunk, actually.
It is generally a little bit bigger than a chipmunk, but they're kind of chipmunk shaped.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
The big thing about a southern flying squirrel, or any flying squirrel, is the flap of skin that connects from about where their wrist is to their ankle. This allows this little squirrel to glide, not truly fly, and there's been recording of southern flying squirrels gliding up to 300 feet, which is insane.
Wow.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, most of their little glides are 20 to 30 feet, but still, that's more than I can glide. To glide, the squirrel has to jump.
I mean, to be fair, Rachel, if we threw you out of a high enough airplane, I bet you could glide a whole lot further.
You're right. Do I
We're not
have a
going to.
paragliding?
Let's not do that.
I appreciate that.
Out of a tree, though, they have you beat. Out of a tree, they have you beat. So
absolutely, they do. So in order to glide, the squirrel has to jump, fully extend their limbs, and which increases their surface area and allows the flap of skin between their wrist and their ankle to have tension, pretty much. And they're increasing their surface area, which allows them to glide. What's wild to me is that while they are gliding, this glide is fully under this squirrel's control. They're able to stabilize in the air using their tail, using it as an air brake. They're able to control different angles on their wrists and ankles and help direct themselves, as well as work with the different aerodynamics of the air around them to get to where they're going and potentially increase their flight, which is wild.
Just see them maneuvering their little furry bodies through the air.
Like, personally, like, I think when I think of like a paraglider or when humans go gliding or anything like that, generally speaking, we have some control, but we're not fully in control. Not like a flying squirrel. Or at least that's my understanding of a paraglider. I might be wrong. Who knows? Anyway, so the big thing I wanted to talk about, which is why Ashley texted me in the first place, was something about the flying squirrel that was actually discovered by accident in 2019.
Recently.
I bet I know.
Oh, yeah.
But maybe I'm wrong. Let's hear it.
So, flying squirrels fluoresce bubblegum pink under UV light.
That's what fun. I thought you were going to say. That's
great.
Yeah. So what happened was a forestry professor named John Martin up at Northland College, which is actually in my neck of the woods. So that's very fun.
This sounds exactly like the kind of thing that would happen at Northland, by the way.
Oh, 100%. So John Martin was in the forest at night looking at lichens and fungi and plants with a UV light, flashing them, trying to figure out, as you do, right? And he heard a little flying squirrel chitter, and he pointed his flashlight at it, not thinking about the fact that it was a UV flashlight, not a regular flashlight.
Not gonna do much, right? Yeah.
And saw a flash of bright pink and saw the squirrel fluoresce.
That's just great.
So, of course, he goes back to work, and he tells his coworker, Paula Anick, or Paula Anish. I'm going to go with Anick, who actually studies rodents at Northland College. So she went off to study. She put together a team of students. They used study skins from the Science Museum of Minnesota, from those collections, as well as different museums, as well as the ones at Northland College and in the area. And they found that only flying squirrels fluoresce, because they checked ages, they checked sexual dimorphism, they were looking for different species to see if all squirrels fluoresce, or is it just the flying squirrels? And there's a lot of questions along those lines that they were looking at. And they found that really only the flying squirrels, all the flying squirrels in North America, fluoresce this bright pink.
So cool.
Which is super cool.
Does it have something to do with them being nocturnal?
Great question. What a lead up.
We don't know.
We don't know. But the current thought to why is still being debated. But similar fluorescence has been found in possums around North America, which do share the similar nocturnal habits of flying squirrels.
And I'll tell you, it also has been found in... Oh, you're going to say it.
Oh, nope. Go for it.
Are you going to say owls?
No, but that is also very fair. Yes, it's also been
It has been found
in owls.
In owls. I know when we do bird banding of owls, You can tell how old the feathers are by shining a black light on them. The newer feathers fluoresce bright pink. And I know that's been documented in saw-whet owls, and I've only ever seen it talked about with saw-whet owls. I happen to work with one of my coworkers who is an owl, who's a barred owl. And so when she had feathers coming in, I happened to be in a spot that was dark with her one time, so I had my black light with me and shining on her feathers, and I can tell you that barred owl feathers also are fluoresce pink under a black light. But I don't know if that's ever been written up anywhere scientifically, but it's something I've observed.
I think it
has.
I'm assuming it has, but okay.
Let's just say this is a good lead up for next week.
Interesting.
Fabulous. Right. So, because of these animals, they share those nocturnal habits. At that time of night, because it's low light conditions and it's dusk, there's actually a lot more UV light that I guess is around. Okay. So when flying squirrels and possums and owls are more active, there's more UV light around. So one of the thoughts is that it could be used for communication. One thought is that it could be used for showing how... One thought, which has kind of already been discredited, one thought was that maybe they use it for sexual selection, which was kind of discarded because there's no difference between males or females. Another thought was potentially they might be potentially using it as a type of camouflage. As they're flying, they can be mistaken for like owls as they're flying because of the fluorescence.
Interesting. Okay.
So, but again, we don't exactly know why. We don't even know how the squirrels are doing this. So, new science. It's so exciting. Ashley, I'm sorry I don't have a real answer for you, but fun, exciting new science.
We have a flying squirrel taxidermy at my place of work, and now I'm like, I gotta get the black light out and see if it fluoresces.
It should actually. Cool. That would be really cool.
That's so cool.
Oh, so fun. All right. Well, that's what I have for you both and for everyone else today. So, yeah. Thanks, everyone, for listening. We will see you next week.
Thank you next week.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone, for listening to today's show. Be sure to subscribe. New episodes drop every Wednesday, and we love sharing this strange world with all of our listeners. If you would be so kind as to leave us a 5-star review, that would be great. It lets other lovers of the strange discover the show. You can reach out to us on social media by searching for Strange by Nature Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You can send us an email as well. Our address is contact@strangebynaturepodcast.com. If you want more information about the show, you can also check out our website, which is strangebynaturepodcast.com. Until next week, get outside, stay curious, and embrace the strange.